let's get right to part two of our interview with Gianni Russo, the Hollywood Godfather. Gianni, a lot of people haven't followed your career as I have, and not many people know how successful your career as an actor was after The Godfather, how successful you were as an author. I think a lot of people know what a great show you put on when you get out there and sing a song, and you sing the kind of music that I love, Frank Sinatra type music. There aren't many people around who can go out there in a supper club and actually sing that kind of music while people are drinking and enjoying. It's really such a pleasure to have you out there doing that. But tell our audience a little bit about what happened to Gianni Russo after The Godfather.
Well, fortunately, The Godfather, I put a little money into it, 35,000, which was a lot of money then. And we won 3 Oscars. I said, well, this is easy. So I went on to make 46 more motion pictures. That won 9 more Oscars. Like Seabiscuit was a great movie. I thought we'd win a lot more Oscars than that. But talking about fortunate, I've been. Any Given Sunday, Striptease. These are all big movies. These are not B-class movies. I'm called up by everybody saying, will you come and do a day here? And I said, no. I got masterpieces on the wall. I'm not going to do a day labor. See you later. But I attribute to my acting and moving on, Marlon Brando was my only acting teacher. He taught me every day. He took a liking to me. Then I found out he really liked my chauffeur, because I had a Chinese chick chauffeur at the time. I had a 65 Bentley coming to the set every day. I used to pick him up. He was staying at the hotel on 45th Street. He liked that hotel, the Elysee, because he didn't want to stay at the Park Lane where we all were. And he liked that bar in there. So I used to pick him up every morning. But to have him as my coach going through my lines, I knew nothing. And as far as singing, my singing teacher was Frank Sinatra, and he took care of me. In fact, the last performance he had at the Sands Hotel just before he retired, he booked me in the Claridge next door in Atlantic City. He was doing 1 show, I was doing 2. And when he left the stage, he was there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, like he booked me there. He would leave the stage and say, listen, my friend is performing next door. I'm going to go over there. I advise you come and say, oh, come over. He'd come out every night, do 1 or 2 songs with me. I mean, so I don't think Sinatra supported anybody directly and indirectly as much as he supported me. He opened my nightclub in Las Vegas, Gianni Russo State Street, 13,000 square foot. He brought Dean and Sammy in for 3 nights every night. They got on stage, they kibitzed. He baptized my son Luciano. I mean, I don't boast about, a lot of people, we don't want to mention a couple of names, but, because they met the guy and they slept with him. Get out of here.
Hey, Johnny, when Marlon Brando became one of your very best friends and contributed to your success as a businessman, and as an actor, but when he first met you, you had kind of a run-in with him, remember?
Well, the reason I remember it well, because again, I wasn't an actor. And the only thing I really felt comfortable, the first rehearsal was Patsy's on 119th Street. Now, to your audience, they won't know what this is. I'll clarify. I used to bring overnight loans up there from Costello. That's a Genovese family. And that's Fat Tony Salerno's club. They used to have Ziganet games at night there. So I was up there all the time. So when they put that on the call sheet where to show up, 119th Street, I went up early. I'm dressed in a Brioni suit. I'm at the bar. Danny Pagano Jr., Sr., Tony Parkside, Tony Federici, better known as Tony. They were all real guys. Angelo Cheesecake, the Jet. And they said, what are you doing here? I says, I'm here for the rehearsal. For The Godfather? I said, yeah. Let's get out of here. What are you going to do in this movie? And like I told everybody, Matty, I'm in the movie. What are you doing? Get out of here. So now we go back there and they see me call in. I go sit in, and Coppola addresses everybody in the room. All the actors, all the major actors, within the room, 30 people. And he said, before we bring Brando in, nobody approach him, nobody look at him, have eye contact, nothing. And all these young thespians, they all want to go talk to this guy. He was a giant in the business. So 45 minutes go by. Oh, and the other thing Coppola said, for the Italians in the room, I want you to exaggerate your hand gestures, even your mannerisms in eating. We're going to have food on the table. Because all the non-Italians, like James Caan being Jewish, Marlon Brando being Polish, had to become Italian during this week of rehearsals. So the rehearsals go on. They take a break, and Brando comes over to me. I'm minding my own business. He said, you're a big TV actor. I said, no. He said, you got a big movie coming out. I said, no. He said, well, you're not on Broadway. I know everybody on Broadway. I said, you're right again. I said, is this a quiz show? What are we doing here? He's like, I ain't going to let this guy intimidate me. I'm around wise guy. I'm going to worry about you. You're an actor. So with this, he calls Francis over, the director. He says, Francis, you got to rethink this. And I'm saying to myself, what did I just hear? He says, this guy's got to be a great actor. I didn't break down the script. I know nothing about a script. He marries my daughter. He undermines my family for the Bazzinis. He gets my oldest son, Sonny, killed. He gets my son, Michael, drawn into the business. He says, you got to get another actor. I said, whoa. So I don't know protocol. I said, Francis, go over there a minute. And he left because he didn't hire me, but he heard rumors. He just walked away. The whole room, Maddie, you could hear a pin drop. Every actor's looking at, who's this guy? So they said, don't look at Brando. I put my arm on him now. And I walk him to the back because I don't want nobody to hear what I'm going to say to him. I knew nobody was back there. The games were at night. So I would go nose to him. I said, let me just tell you something, Mr. Brando. All due respect. I know who you are. I love your work. But you get me fired. Listen to me close. You get me fired. I will suck on your heart. You will bleed out right here. You hear me? He looked at me, Matty. He stepped back. He said, that was brilliant. He thought I was acting. I meant it. I could never go back to the neighborhood. He got me fired this day. I knew you were lying. And once you're a liar, you're a liar. That's it in that neighborhood.
Johnny, you started off bad with Brando, but he and you became great friends. And during the movie, he helped you with the biggest scene in the movie, with the airline tickets. Tell us about that.
The scene you're talking to me about, he said that when he hands you that airline ticket, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I want you to look at it. This is just a security blanket. You already read the script. You're going through the windshield in the next frame. But you got to let the audience know. We're projecting you on the screen. And he took me scene by scene like that every day. And he came on the set that day. And he was number one. The cast all have numbers. And everybody's on the sleep. Number one's on the set. He's not on. What's he doing here? Somebody thought they made a mistake on a call sheet. Brando, he is number one. He knows it's him. He says, I'm not here by mistake. I come here to help this kid. This is what went on. But I rewarded him, Maddie. Nobody knows this. And your audience is going to hear something that's never been said before. Michael LaBelle and Andrew Bergman and I produced 3 big movies together. Now I'm a producer with them. We did Striptease with Demi Moore, Chances Are, and The Freshman with Matthew Broderick and Bruno Kirby. And they wanted Marlon Brando to come back as Don Corleone, but they were never going to mention it. And they got the script sanctioned as long as they didn't mention Godfather. So I hear this with them that they really need him. I got him $15 million for The Freshman. And he said, why are you doing? I said, well, look what you did for me. He said, they're going to give me this money? I said, yeah, hold on. And then when they're ready to give him the money, I said, don't take the money here. He said, what? Because I was taught by the best of them, Meyer Lansky, Frank Costello. I know a lot about business at this point. I said, tell me you want to be paid in Tahiti. They had to fly to Tahiti to pay him because he had a tax exemption there because he's redoing the islands. He paid nothing on that.
Great. Gianni, also, as a result of your friendship with Marlon Brando, you were able to obtain the rights to his name and image that you use on your vodka. Tell us how you pull that one off.
Well, I went to him. He was sick at the time, and I helped his son. I don't know how many people know Brendan, his son, killed his attended brother-in-law, Cheyenne's husband, who she was pregnant with. And I just beat a case that was self-defense. So Brando called me that night when this happened, 2 months later, 1920. I mean, October 28 in 86. I had an incident in my club, and a guy stabbed a woman. I went to defense, and I wound up killing him. And there was an inquiry in 10 days, and they dropped the charge. So he thought I knew what I was doing. He calls me up 2 o'clock in the morning. He says, "You got to help me." I said, "Whatever you want." He says, "My son just shot his brother-in-law." I said, "Did you call the police yet?" He says, "No." I said, "Don't call nobody yet." "Who's in the house?" He's "My daughter, me." And I said, "Get rid of Cheyenne." I said, "Guy's going to call you. A guy's going to call you in 10 minutes. I called Shapiro, Robert Shapiro. He was introduced to me by Steve Wynn because they thought I needed a lawyer. And then they dropped the case. I need no lawyer, but I got his number, his home number, everything. They gave me because of Steve Wynn. So I called Robert up. He said, "What are you calling my house for so late?" I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I got a very important client. Tell him to call my office tomorrow morning." I said, "Robert, it's an emergency." He said, "Who is it?" I said, "Marlon Brando." He said, "Give me his number." In the morning, this is 2 o'clock in the morning. At 7 o'clock, he's on the 7 o'clock news in LA, standing with Brando while they're arraigning Brendan. He never forgot that. And that's how I got the rights. I got the likeness, the voice. I digitized everything he said in every movie. I got him doing ads in the supermarket for me on year-end island counters. You walk up and he said, "I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Try my Clemenza sauce." Everybody say, "How'd you get this?" Which, they all get on the phone and say, "You won't believe it. Brando's talking to us in the store."
Johnny, you have Marlon Brando working for you posthumously, which is quite an accomplishment. But in addition to all the films that you made, all the success that you had in the movie industry, and all the success you had on stage as a nightclub singer, a supper club singer, an old time singer, that was all great, and that was performances. But as a businessman, you're in a lot of businesses right now. Why don't you give yourself a few plugs? Tell us what Gianni Russo is doing now.
Well, I became the world ambassador to a company that has quarterly owned fine Italian foods. You go online. Quarterly owned fine Italian foods is in 73 countries. We own Genco olive oil. The can that was created in the movie, we own that company now. It was Barbera olive oil. And I own a clothing company. This is some of my stuff. And you're going to love the name of my clothing company. La Cosa Mia by Gianni. I want to keep it in the vein. I got another book coming out. I can mention my vodka. My vodka was picked as the best vodka in the world.
What's the name of your vodka, Johnny?
Corleone vodka with him on the bottle. It's a black bottle.
You got to send me a couple of bottles of that.
Yeah. But this year, the last quarter of this year, we're coming out with a 50-year-old Scotch for the celebration of the 50-year-old of the movie. You got to see, it's an etched bottle with his image on that bottle. And then we came out with a 5-year-old Scotch because everybody can't afford $2,500 for a bottle of Scotch. I came out with 300,000 bottles were being made right now. They're for $49. Everybody's going to do it, collect them. But I got another book coming out, which I'm proud of.
What's the name of your first book? I want to plug that too, because that was a great book.
That book is still a bestseller.
What's the name of it?
Hollywood Godfather: My Life in the Movie and the Mob. And Patrick Wachsberger, who won the Oscar for Coda for New Line Films last year, has got it in development to become a full-length feature, over $100 million.
It's going to be a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And before I let you go, tell us a little bit about your new book and when it's coming out.
Well, let me finish about this book. This book
Yeah.
now, I'm in 17 casinos near you. Go online and you'll see me from now until New Year's Eve. Doing the show as a one-man show. You're going to see film clips that you're not going to believe. I got stuff on Sinatra, Brando, Marilyn Monroe, who I was fortunate enough to have a romance with for the last 4 years of her life. They're all in this. So that's gone crazy right now. I mean, I'm on the road already with it. But thank you for allowing me to plug all this. And now my
And
new book is The Sixth Family, about Marilyn Monroe and a child that we found is alive, 63-year-old lady, a girl.
you know, Gianni, your life has been so exciting that I forgot that you had a relationship with Marilyn Monroe. I want to ask you one question in closing out. Earlier, how many children do you have?
I have 2 daughters, 9 sons, 11 grandchildren. I just got my first granddaughter by my daughter Adriana.
And how many wives? How many wives have you had? How many wives have you had?
3 wives, but 10 mothers to my children. Only one lady had two.
Well, that at least you know how to take it easy on the woman. You know, a lot of men like to have children, but they don't understand. The women don't like to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. So you're kind enough to spread yourself around and to create a big family and not put the burden on any one lady. You're really a very considerate fellow.
I didn't do it for that reason, but what's more interesting, I have children in 7 countries, so I have a place to visit. I'm always visiting family.
Okay, Johnny, on that pleasant note, we're going to sign off. Today, I guess, instead of a view from Mulberry Street, it's a view from Gianni Russo. And what a great, great guy you are. I'm so happy to have you on the show. And I hope that you're going to be back again because, believe it or not, the people don't know. You've got a lot more stories than what you've told today.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks
Well,
a lot.
thank you. And thank you for having me and Neil and everybody else that's involved. God bless.
Okay, so I guess that's a wrap on A View from Mulberry Street for today.